I do think it contributed at least a little bit, Jenna. Number one, he skipped the offseason program. So you didn't have that. And clearly his mind was elsewhere. Nick told us last week, while Tom Brady was working on getting his 8th Super Bowl ring in the offseason, some quarterbacks were off on a beach drinking Mai Tais, and that's what Aaron Rodgers was literally doing. All right, so I just think, look, he contemplated retirement. He looked at working for Jeopardy. He tried out for that. So his mind was elsewhere. He also looked at playing for other teams or thought about it. So at that point, I think it at least contributed to what we saw yesterday. He's always been haughty. We know Aaron Rodgers has always been arrogant. But the way he strutted into training camp, it was like the Savior has arrived. So he talked in his press conference about, them coming off 2 NFC championship games, and maybe they went in there a little arrogant. None more arrogant than Aaron Rodgers. So when he says this was a kick in the pants, I think he meant it was a kick in the pants not only for everybody else, but to wake him up as well, Nick. The bottom line is this. You cannot, after an offseason of demanding a trade, after an offseason of trying out for the host of Jeopardy, after an offseason of complaining about how you don't get enough say in the front office, after an offseason in which you sit down with Aaron Andrews and say, I've got nothing left to prove on the field, and then you contemplate retirement, you can't come out with the stinker like he did yesterday.
Yeah, so the short version is Aaron Rodgers had the worst game of his career after the worst offseason of his career. So I think it would be foolish for us to act like those two are totally unrelated events. The most likelihood is that one at least slightly contributed to the other. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Aaron Rodgers personally and professionally, and I have pretty consistently supported him in his battle with the Packers. With that said, I thought the Aaron Andrews interview was a mistake. And by the way, credit to Aaron and the whole Fox team for getting it. That's their job, right, and good job by them. But I thought Aaron's press conference, when he came back to Green Bay, answered all the questions. He was so transparent. One of the reasons I thought he took that tact was so he could then be like, all right, I've answered everything. Now we're moving on. But he then continues to relitigate it somewhat via his weekly hits with Pat McAfee and now right before the game with Aaron. And obviously he didn't do the interview right before the game, but he knows when it's airing right before the game. And Wilds, that to me then puts the added pressure on him that he must perform at an MVP level. The trump card Aaron had throughout this entire offseason is, guys, what did I do right after you drafted my replacement? Oh, I had probably the second best season of my career and ran away with league MVP. Well, that goes away quickly when it's not just that they got annihilated, it's that first pick we're showing, the one in the red zone, they were in the game. They played as badly as you can play in the first half. Still, it was 17-3 at halftime. You're getting the ball. This is to make it 17-10. And instead, picked goes the other way. The Packers defense forced to stop, and on the very next drive when it's 17-3, he throws essentially a Hail Mary interception on third down that gets returned to the 15-yard line. So it was the worst game of his career, Wilds, after the worst offseason of his career. So, yeah, he's got to wear this one for the next 6 days.
Okay, so what percentage of this game and Aaron Rodgers' performance are you willing to put on the offseason turmoil, Broussard? Because if it's more than 1%, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the fact that he threw an interception. He's like, oh, what about potent potables? And he throws like, I got to get focused, Aaron. Don't stop thinking about Jeopardy. My God. And, like, everyone's out there saying, like, you can't do it. You can't talk about Michael Jordan and The Last Dance and then put up a stinker like this. You can't do it. Like, yeah, you can. Because it's literally what Michael Jordan did. They did the big Last Dance, and Michael Jordan lost the first game to the Celtics, and they started the season 4-4. So, like, it happens. Aaron Rodgers is allowed to have a bad game. Maybe it's 1%, but then I also don't know, like, why he played so bad against the Bucs last year. He was horrible then. We're trying to, like, figure it out. We know he has started slow. I think it's okay. I think people are now blowing it too big of a proportion, trying to make a causality that isn't there. The Saints played amazing. Aaron Rodgers does not play defense. The Saints scored on 6 of their first 7 drives and took advantage of 2 rookie guys starting on the offensive line for the Packers. So, yes, it was a weird offseason. Maybe he was drinking Mai Tais. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was playing a ukulele a little bit too much. But I think it's just 1%. 99% was just poor play, and the Saints playing great.
Wilds, I thought you were my PR manager, not Aaron Rodgers. I mean, my goodness, what a defense! What a defense! I mean,
gone too far.
He cannot come out and do this. And it was more than 1%. I'm not going to make too big of a deal out of it, but I'm going to say it was 10%. And here's what I wonder. I'm wondering things that make me go, All right, Nick, you mentioned it, that maybe Rodgers has put too much pressure on himself. All right, I have said, when is Aaron Rodgers a different quarterback? When the pressure is on.
You say that
he is the best about the best we've ever seen in the regular season. Yeah. But in the NFC Championship games, he's not horrible, but he's different. 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in his 5 NFC title games, which is huge for a guy that never throws interceptions. In his 20 playoff games, Nick, in his career, 20 playoff games in his career, he's got 2 interception games. And while you brought up last year, when was he had 1-2 interception a game, 2 interception game last year. When was it? It was against Tampa Bay. Yeah. Pressure, because it's Tom Brady. I'm just throwing that out there because Nick brought it up. Maybe he is feeling the pressure after that offseason and all that.
So I don't think Rodgers is a guy that doesn't respond well to pressure, but I do think that he has shown, and there's no perfect players, that he is a guy who will allow his team to let go of the rope. And by that I mean this. They've only lost 7 games since Matt LaFleur has taken over as the head coach. It's pretty remarkable in the regular season. Yet 3 of those 7 have been dog walkings, just annihilations by 28-plus points. The first year together, San Francisco annihilated them on national television. Last year, remember how they just let go of the rope against Tampa. And then yesterday, that interception, the second pick, when he's just basically punting it from the end zone, that to me is letting go of the rope. So I do think that's one of the knocks, our friend Colin has on Aaron is that he's great at, from ahead, but when things get tough, he's like, all right, we'll go get them next week. I think that is fair. Yep. Also, Jenna, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, on Broussard's first Football Monday, in the first segment, he worked in haughty and a salt and pepper reference. This is why, he's a man of multi-talents. It's really exceptional.
You are a man of
really well.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.